welcome back everyone to another interview with Fight Underground. It's me, the White Trash Hero. Today we're going to be talking to the one and only Tatiana Rose.
Hello.
How's everything going?
Everything's going okay.
Okay? That was a big okay.
Well, if you've seen any of the promos I've put out, been trying not to go stir crazy, but it's been, other than that, it's going pretty good.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're going to have some people that will be watching this interview for the first time meeting you. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into wrestling, where you're from, and all that good stuff.
Well, I've been in the wrestling business for about 2 years now. I began training in March of 2018 under Quinn Magnum. I began managing down in Ohio in August of that year, so I've been working in the business for about a year and a half, almost two. But I had my in-ring debut in February of 2019 at Black Diamond Wrestling, and then my first singles match in October of 2019 at Angel Gate Wrestling against Charlie Cruel, which I lost, but that happens. It was still a pretty good match, and she and I are definitely talking about doing that again sometime, so it might go a little differently.
There you go. Well, tell us a little bit about your persona. What type of competitor are you in the ring?
I am a give it all you've got type of competitor. Every time I step into that ring, I give everything I can possibly give. I bring 110% with me everywhere I go. That's really all I can say. I just try to do whatever I can, but do whatever it takes to walk out with a victory.
Fair enough. How did you become you? How did you develop this persona? A lot of people think that you are a underdog. A lot of people think that you have big heart. You definitely know how to claw and fight your way to the top. What makes you tick? What makes you you?
What makes me me? Well, the one thing that really makes me tick is bullies, like people that try to push everybody around, especially people like me who are smaller than the average Joe, and they think, oh, well, I can just have them do whatever I want. That's always been something that's lit a fire underneath me, made me want to fight back, stand up for others. I've always wanted to stand up for the little guy because I am a little guy, and if I'm not going to do it, who will?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they're bullying everywhere, and everybody needs to be punched in the mouth every now and then.
Oh, yes, they do.
So basically, in a nutshell, you definitely have had a not a full career, but a well-rounded career with interviews and getting in the ring. What do you like better, the interview portion or getting beat up in the ring?
As much as I love interviewing people and putting people on the spot myself, wrestling is where my heart is. I love stepping into that ring. I love throwing everything into it. I love proving that I'm not some damsel in distress that needs rescued. I'm not some pretty princess waiting for my knight in shining armor. No, I can be the knight in shining armor for myself. I can get into that ring and hold my own. I love being able to prove that.
And you know what? I think you're going to be proving that without a shadow of a doubt. Fight Underground has a lot of tough competitors, both male and female. Looking at the roster of who went underground already, anybody on your radar that you would like to maybe kind of call out or go after?
I have 3 people on my mind. 2 of them I have a history with. One of them I have not interacted with in the past, but I've definitely had my eye on them. That person is Honey Badger. I've been following her career since I got into this business. She's quite a competitor, and I would love to step into the ring with her at some point. Second is Scarlett, who I interacted with quite a lot when I was training. I've had matches with her. We have a history together. She was my first singles match down at Black Diamond Wrestling down in West Virginia, and I always love stepping into the ring and, well, throwing rounds with her because we always push each other to our limits. And third is AJ Alexander, who I used to manage down in Ohio. And when I left Ohio, I didn't leave on the best of terms. I kind of got structured out, and well, AJ kind of forgot about me. So I'd like to, get into the ring with him, remind him of who I am and who we used to be.
Kind
So
of give
that
a wake-up call, little reminder.
just a little reminder.
Well, AJ, if you're listening, you better keep your head on a swivel. You got a target on your back. But why do you fight? Like, what makes you want to fight? You talked a little bit about bully. You talked about, being the underdog and, always trying to be at the top of your game without, all the haters coming at you. What got you into wrestling?
Well, my brother is the one that got me into wrestling. He loved wrestling. There's a huge age difference between us. So me being the little sister, I just did whatever I thought was cool that my big brother was doing. He loved wrestling, so I loved wrestling. He lost interest, and I didn't. For me, wrestling turned into this part of myself where I always saw myself doing it. And when I got here and when I started doing it, I realized that it was a way for me to stand up for all of the little girls, little kids, everybody that had ever been put down, pushed around. Again, going back to that bully statement, it was a way for me to stand up to every bully I'd ever faced. And I fight for that little Tatiana who wasn't able to stand up to those bullies, because now I can.
I'll tell you what, you definitely, a lot of people throw around the term role model, but I think you're living up to that terminology very well. So keep up the good work on that. With the wrestling under your belt now, what type of competitor are you? What's your style? What's your hybrid, so to speak? Are you a brawler, technical wrestler, high flyer? What do you got?
Right now, I'm trying a little bit of everything. I have been wrestling for about a year now, but I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still figuring out what works well for me, because as a smaller person, you always want to be the brawler, but that's not always going to work. And technical wrestling, high flying, all of that takes a lot of time and skill to learn, and I'm still learning. I'm definitely ready to go out there and throw hands, but I'm not going to say that I don't need to step behind the training bars every now and then.
Well, if you don't use it, you lose it. And the two ladies that you talked about earlier, Honey Badger and Scarlet, both are very, very tough. Don't tell them, they scare the crap out of me.
Your secret is safe with me.
Thank you. But if you're going to be calling them out, you're going to have your hands full. So you might have to throw hands. So be prepared for that.
Well, that goes back to what I said about the interviews. Always be ready for things to go wrong.
Exactly. And, one final question before we wrap it up here. Why did you go underground?
Something about Fight Underground feels like it's close to home. So, not to mention, I just love experiments. And this is going to be a fun one.
I do want to thank you for your time. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck. And I hope that you have great things that happen, not only in Fight Underground, but wherever your career may take you. You can keep that personality that you have, and don't let nobody bully you.
No, I won't. Well, thank you so much for having me.